Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode on Rosalia Shiweva official YouTube channel. Today, we are here with a heart-to-heart conversation. These are conversations that we hope that can inspire change in our communities. And I'm joined by the amazing, lovely Adrian, who is my amazing friend. And please, if you're here for the first time, I'd like you to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also let us know in the comment section. You can as well share this video with your community on WhatsApp, Facebook, you name it. Adrian, thank you so much once again for being here. I'm so much honored for your presence. And today we're going to share on the journey of heart to heart conversation where we'll speak on your journey of taking change in your own life as a creative and also just maybe finding your purpose and passion. Before we get into the conversation, can you please introduce yourself? And you can speak on being a creative and how you got to that point. But first of all, you can introduce yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Adrian Maramba. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Zimbabwe and I'm currently living in Namibia. And as for the creative aspect of my life, it actually started because I'm from Zimbabwe and I came to Namibia. So I came here in 2014 and I basically left everything, right? I left all my friends, I left my family to come live here and do school here. I was living with my father, and he was the only family I had. And while it was nice being in a different country, it was still quite lonely because it felt like no one else understood where I was coming from at school because everyone that I was friends with, they were all Namibian, so they didn't have the experience that I had, having left a whole different country, a whole different culture, a whole different way of life, and having to adopt to another one while also adopting to a different education system. And because of that, I got into creating my own little world because in real life, I felt like I had no control. But when I would create my own little worlds, then I had control over everything. And I did that by playing with my toys, more specifically with Legos, because Legos, you can break anything, you can build anything you want, basically. And as I played with the Legos, I would create my own stories, my own storylines. I'd create my own movies, my own games, whatever it is, I'd create it. And that developed into me having an interest in writing stories because I had all these ideas that I felt were good and I wanted to actually expand on them. So I started writing stories, and when I would write these stories, I would actually imagine music for these stories. Like I would imagine original music made in my head for these stories. And so that was the precursor to 2018 when I started getting into music. I started as a drummer and I practiced drumming so that I could play in church, but I never got to play in church because of COVID. When COVID hit, we all had to stay home, of course. And because of that, I started delving into electronic music. So I would make music on my laptop, all while I still continued with my writing. And then eventually my writing took a pause, and then I started, excuse me, and then I started focusing on music. And eventually I got to a point where I could basically make any track that I wanted. And that's when I started focusing on writing again, because now I could write and I could make music based off of the scenes that I was writing, which I felt was quite powerful. And so, fast forward to today, where writing and music are not my hobby, they're not hobbies anymore. They are now something that I want to make a career, and not just for the, um, not just so that I could make something cool, but also so I could help people through my writing and through my music. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. you've mentioned on you want to help people through your writing or music.
Mm.
What help are you really looking forward to sharing with the world through your creativity of writing and music?
Mm. I'm a Christian, um, very devout Christian. I live, breathe, eat Jesus, basically. Everything I do, I have Jesus in mind. And because of that, I think that everyone would benefit from the experience I've had from following him. Because when I, um, when I of course left Zim to come to Namibia, it was quite a difficult transition, and I fell into depression, which was a tough battle that I fought all the way into high school because I came to Namibia in the fourth grade, and just when I started getting acclimatized to life in Namibia, in primary school more specifically, I had to switch over to high school, which is a whole different thing. And so there was that whole anxiety that I felt from before, which just came back. And I believe with all the hormones and as I'm growing, it just blew out of proportion and it led me to falling into depression, which I had battled for years. And the only reason that I got out of it was because Jesus helped me get through that. And I believe that sharing who Jesus is and not just what he can do for you, in the sense that people often think that we just pray for whatever we want and we get whatever we want. But it's not about the religious practices like praying and going to church and things of that nature. It's about getting to know Jesus. It's about having a relationship with him. And if I can help someone see the character of Jesus and help them want to have a relationship with him in the same way that I am, and even in a better way than I am, and even earlier than I am, and hopefully a preventative way in the sense that they know him before falling into the same pit that I did, then I think that would help make the world a better place because then they can share with someone else and it just becomes a cycle of sharing the good news of who Jesus is. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. As you are embarking upon this journey of sharing the good news about Jesus and also sharing the message that Jesus is communicating through you, through your creativity, right?
Mhm.
How has it been so far? Is your music available for people to watch
Mhm.
or listen? Watch or listen? You've mentioned you're writing. Are the scripts of what you're writing available? And how has the response been so far?
Mhm. So I am writing several Christian stories which show people how to um, relate with Jesus and how to relate with one another, and even how they treat their relationship with themselves, because that's often an overlooked aspect of that. Because we need to understand ourselves and we need to be able to forgive ourselves for when we fall short, and we need to be able to actually have a solid mental fortitude so that we're able to show up in the world strongly. And so, because of that, I've been writing a lot, and because of my writing, which has increased, it hasn't left much room for having the time to actually post anything. So I haven't posted anything as of yet, but I will post something soon. Hopefully, in the next coming year, I will have finished the first story that I'm working on and have it available to read everywhere for free. As for music, I have released two gospel songs, which are out on all platforms, and the reception was actually quite well. they were heavily promoted by Spotify themselves, which is the main platform that I release on or that I promote because it's my biggest audience. And Spotify themselves have promoted my two Christian songs way more than any of my other releases, which was just mind blowing. And the reception was quite amazing because I've had people tell me how much the songs have helped them, which is what it's all about, really. So I'm glad to see that the mission I set out to do is actually paying off. And I am working on several Christian projects, several gospel projects, and I am moving away from working with musicians who don't speak or sing about Jesus or the Christian life or who aren't Christian. I'm moving away from that and solely focusing on working with gospel musicians so that I can further promote Jesus in my work. And I think that with the audience that I've already built up with my previous work, it would be beneficial to not create an alter ego or a new account or anything like that, but to just make the switch and just do it immediately so that they can already jump on the bandwagon and they can see what I'm all about now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. Speaking of change and inspiring change, what do you think has been the challenge for you taking the path that you took and creating change in your own life?
Mm. The biggest challenge is that people are stubborn, myself included. We're all so stuck in our own ways, and that prevents us from seeing new possibilities, new realities, from it prevents us from subscribing to new ways of thinking which are much better than ways we had been stuck in thinking before. And that I find is the main challenge with myself and also with other people because when I try to help other people and I try to show them um, the way, the right way, the way to go about things, which is not my way because all of the knowledge that I get my inspiration from it's from the Bible. So none of it is me doing it. It's all reading Jesus's instructions, reading his teachings, reading the Bible for myself, and then preaching that to other people. And I find that people do not like being challenged. They don't like everything they've known being challenged. Because when you present them with the truth cuts through any lies. And the thing with lies is that whether you've believed it since you were a child, it doesn't mean that it's not a lie. And even if it's something you've lived your whole life subscribing to, or if it's built up the foundation of who you are, if it's a lie, it's a lie. And so when you try to topple people's foundations, which are built in lies, they're going to resist you, which is the biggest challenge that I found.
Right. Yeah, I relate with that. Even in the work that I do as a life coach, I do see that change is really hard, especially for people who have already believed a lifestyle that was a certain way. So I can relate to that. Maybe we can move to our general experience that we are seeing in our community. Yeah, having the experience already, and also I believe you already set up a foundation for you to inspire change in communities. You've released work in regards to your music, and you are writing, which you're hoping to publish the stories for the audience to see. So I feel you're already walking the journey of releasing your purpose and passion to everyone, right? Do you feel every person was supposed to pursue a certain purpose in life? And if yes or no, depending on what you'll say, um, those who don't have purpose, of not discover their purpose, how can they discover that, and how can they go into the roots of persuading the calling that they were called to do on earth?
Mm.
And maybe also your advice on those who are struggling to find their purpose, or really feeling like they don't have the community to actually hold them to a platform that they can experience and share with others. You can speak on that.
All right. So, as for purpose and how I found my purpose, it was once again through Jesus, and it was through understanding that nothing is a coincidence in life. Everything is for a reason, but you have to understand what that reason is, and you have to understand who made it so, like whose will it was for those things to happen. And I understand that it is Jesus who dictates how everything goes, because he is the God of the universe. And so, for people who are struggling to find their purpose, it would be easy for me to just say, trust in Jesus, and that's it. But that doesn't really help you. So I would say, ask yourself what you believe in. Who, or rather, what do you believe in? Because we all believe in something.
Yeah.
I personally, I believe in Jesus. But if you don't, then maybe you believe that you need to work until you're 40 and then retire by 50. Or maybe you believe that you need to be the youngest entrepreneur in your family. Or maybe you believe that you need to get as much money as possible. But you need to ask yourself what you believe in. You need to actually understand what you believe in. And once you understand that, then you can start to see what your purpose is about. Because if you believe in money and you believe you just have to get money, then you're limiting your purpose to just be about getting money.
Yeah.
But when you believe in God, specifically when you believe in Jesus, then you believe that He has a purpose for your life. And once you understand that, then you start to trust in Him to reveal that purpose to you. Because Jesus will give you gifts based off of who you are. He gives you gifts that will help you the most in life based off of who you are. These are gifts that you were given even before you were born, because Jesus, being God, He saw you before you were born. He knew you before you were born. And because He knew you before you were born, He knew what you would like and He knew what you would dislike. He knew what you were capable of and what you weren't capable of. And so these gifts that He's given you, He's given them to you because it's you. So if you have a gift for speaking, then that's you. And you're a great speaker, and that means you can help people. You could be an interviewer, or you could be a preacher, you could be a coach, you could be things of that nature. Or if you're good with your hands, then you could be an architect, you could help build homes for people, you could help in development projects for your city or for your neighborhood, just things of that nature. But we all have gifts that we were given, and the only way to fully utilize the gifts to the best of their capabilities is to consult with the person who gave those gifts to you. So I say that you need to trust in Jesus and understand that He has a purpose for your life, and His purpose for your life is for your ultimate benefit. Because when you don't have that moral code that you believe in, or those values that you believe in, then realistically nothing you do matters. Because if you just want to get money, then that means you're only ever going to work to get money. And that's the extent of who you are as a person. And if that's the extent of who you are as a person, then you would have wasted your life just chasing money, having done nothing. And if you're someone who is into houses, you want 13 different houses in different countries, you want 10 cars in each house, like you want land that stretches from horizon to horizon, then the only thing you'll ever be is a person that's chasing material goods. And that is a limiting purpose because who you are is in what you can obtain. And when you don't obtain that, then who are you? So you need to actually sit down with yourself. I know that can be super scary because there's so much going on in our minds, but who's going to do it for us? So we need to understand ourselves, what we believe in, and we go from there.
Yeah. Wow. We need to understand ourselves, what we believe in, and go from there. You've shared profound points, and I believe that this will touch and impact someone out there to inspire change in their own lives. Are we are almost wrapping up this conversation. I want you to share maybe where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, and what would you be doing with this change that you are empowering with your creativity comes to writing and music and any other form of creativity that you'll embark upon. Yeah.
In the next 5 years, I would definitely have been a more established Christian musician. I would have released multiple projects, having worked with multiple artists all over the world. In the next 5 years, I would have published several stories, and I would be working on actually developing those stories, those written stories, into something that's more digestible for the average person, such as series, because in today's world, attention is currency. And so, if I can make something that someone would just be able to consume and not feel dragged down by, then that would be the most beneficial because not everyone likes to read, which is painful because I'm a writer, but it's the truth. Not everyone likes to read, and that's
Yeah.
okay. So if I can make different forms of media for different forms of people, then I can at least reach the most audience possible. And I take inspiration from Jesus because he is God and he came down to earth as a man and he lived as a man. And so he was teaching all of the people that he was interacting with. But the thing about Jesus is that the way he taught people was by using things that they already knew. If you were speaking to a farmer, he'd use metaphors relating to farming. If you were speaking to fishermen, he would use metaphors relating to fish and things of that nature. So Jesus wasn't necessarily trying to fit in, or yeah, like people usually say, um, you're trying to fit in when you're being different with certain groups of people. But it's not about you trying to conform to them. It's about you being adaptable to the situation that you're in. And because of the situation that I'm in currently with the world and media and the way media is so prevalent and how attention is so important, being able to hook people is so important. I want to be adaptable within the next 5 years. I want to have had a strong foundation so that I'm able to meet different groups of people where they are in different forms of media.
Right. Thank you. Our last conclusion. What message do you want to give to those who want to embark upon a journey of changing their own lives?
Mm. Start.
Mm.
Don't wait for anything. No one's going to do it for you. Not even your future self is going to do it for you. It has to be you right now. You just have to start.
Right. There you have it from Adrian, who has shared with you a story of inspiring change in his own life through his creativity. And if you watched thus far, would like to appreciate your time that you've took out to watch this video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also comment and share with your friends. And until our next video, we'd like to say goodbye.
Bye.